Okay, I was just meeting with Chef Joel here at the rooftop restaurant, and what always happens, as soon as I turn the camera off, we get the good stuff. And I was talking to Joel, and actually, he was telling me about a friend of his and what he thought would be fun to do for a restaurant and a little bit of his experience. Go ahead, why don't you tell what you were telling me?
Well, as I previously mentioned, I worked for Ricky a year and a half or so when I first got to Florida, and fast forward to a couple of months ago, I was talking to a good friend of mine. He does videos for restaurants and events and whatnot. He was trying to come up with an idea of something that would really hit home, that something that would really uh, just make an impact. And we're talking about the fact that I own my own restaurant 6 years ago, and I had a bit of a cloud because I've been in the industry for quite some time. So I thought opening a restaurant would be easy. I sold my house, wiped out my 401k, the whole nine. I didn't have a home. I actually lived in my restaurant for 9 months. I had to join a gym to have a shower for me to bathe. That's something that I had never said to anyone. But the idea was to create something, a concept, a segment about the struggles, the reality behind owning a restaurant, which is something that is oftentimes overlooked. When people say I own a restaurant, they think about the glamour, the drinking, the partying, but it's 80% of restaurants that open failed within the first 2 years. I was one of the casualties. Actually, I was undercapitalized. I lost everything, and that's when I decided to become an F&B director in front of the house, talk about learning about the wines, cocktails, and all that. But the interesting thing about this, just like what came about uh, within a couple of months after losing my restaurant, I thought about what am I going to do. I was like, I know, I want to stay within the industry, so I'm going to actually do shoes for chefs. So I launched a company in which we did custom shoes for chefs.
Wow.
That was
Okay.
right before the pandemic.
Okay.
Pandemic comes, hits, and it shuts everything down. Lost everything again.
Oh.
My first shipment that I was to get in, FedEx loses it. My second shipment, UPS loses it.
Oh no.
So it was struggle after struggle. 7 months ago, we decided to redo it again, and now it's like it's flying on its own.
Oh really? So
Yeah.
you're selling
We,
special?
I do shoes for the hospitality industry, for the medical field. We just added a work boot, so it's all targeting people that are in the industry, the service industry.
Okay, so I didn't know about this, but I'm going to ask him to tell you how to
I'm
get
actually
in touch.
wearing my shoes.
Oh, and those are good looking shoes too.
Thank
They're
you.
probably very comfortable.
Extremely
Tell-
comfortable.
Tell them how to, if somebody wants to find out about that, get the shoes.
Okay.
Can they get in touch? How do they get in touch with you?
We have a site through Shopify, Evo Footwear. It's custom. We could actually put the logo of a company, the colors of a company into the shoe. They're dual density, so 100% top green leather, antimicrobial, anti-static, antifungal. It is truly one of the most amazing shoes that I have ever worn. I was a chef, still a chef, and everything that I learned about being on your feet for so long, I implemented in the shoe.
So I got to tell you, first of all, I didn't know he was going to talk about that, which is great. I didn't know a lot of the stuff he was going to talk about, but I really appreciate this because some of you know I sell commercial real estate, and I talk to a lot of people, and they tell me like, "Oh, I'm going to open a restaurant. My wife makes great lasagna."
Don't.
And I tell
Do not open up a restaurant.
I don't know how many people I've talked out of that because they don't realize that it's not about just everybody loves your food. It's hard hours, it's hard work, it's getting this food out, whether it's a steak or a hamburger. It's got to be.
Rick,
You do hundreds of them. You
I
got to.
never worked so hard in my life,
Uh,
ever. We won best burger the first year of operation.
Here.
My restaurant.
Okay. Okay.
We were ranked number 7 on the best 70 restaurants in Broward County when we first opened,
Okay.
and still didn't manage to keep it open.
So you got an expert chef here in this location, but he's telling you how hard it is to to operate. And you know, it's not like if any of you are old enough to remember Fantasy Island, where they stand by with the drinks and
Yeah.
there's the plane, there's the guests. It's not like that.
At all.
It's a hard
It's a hard life.
business. And when I hear people, you know, sometimes they complain. There's a lot of complainers on social media, and they're like, "Oh, it took so long to get my drink or whatever." They don't realize
They don't.
how much goes into making this work. And this is even before the pandemic. If you're watching this a long time from now, in about 2020, we had something called the pandemic.
Was that
and
what happened?
It made just everything, the supply chain, the labor, everything. And we're
Correct.
in it right now. We're at the tail end, hopefully, or maybe where it's over, depending on
Hope
your
to God.
view. But this is a guys like this, and your wait staff, your servers, your bussers, your dishwashers, they are all working so hard to stay in business and to serve you. And tip big. I hope you appreciate them.
And your patience is appreciated too.
Yeah, so they're all be courteous, be patient. You know, you're not the only person in the restaurant, and they're doing their very best. And you don't know what's going on in different people's lives as well.
Correct.
When they're trying their best to serve you and maintain their lives. So I really appreciate you doing that.
Thank you, Rick.
and giving me that conversation.
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's the best part, right?
When the mic goes off.
There you go, when the mic's off.